Hi, Karen. I feel like we are coming in hot today.
We are en fuego
We
today.
are. We absolutely are in fuego today. Listeners, we just got into a heated, not debate at all, actually, because we're on the same side, but like discussion about the midterm. So we're just going to get right into it. So,
Yes.
how are you feeling, Karen? Like, really, like, let's just talk about the midterms right away because everyone's thinking about it. And by everyone, I mean me, but I'm sure everyone is also.
Yes. I am realizing as I'm talking that I have a different employer than I used to, and my ability to speak freely is not the same.
Okay.
So I will just say that I am concerned
Great points. Yes.
for our democracy. And y'all can read between the lines of how I feel about it.
Hmm.
There
Great.
you go.
Mhm. Yes, I totally respect that. I'm so glad that you thought of that. Like I hadn't thought of that until you mentioned it. I am also concerned for our democracy, and I will say that no matter what side of the aisle you're on, like I wonder if everyone's thinking about it as much as I am. Like I just feel like yes, I'm starting to listen to NPR more. I'm starting to just like consume more of it. I think it's getting louder. I think things are getting louder. Do you agree?
I do agree. And I went and got my nails done the other day. And usually, in my experience in nail salons, we're watching the
Oh
Kardashians,
yeah.
right? The Real Housewives. When I went and got my nails done on my birthday, they just started playing The Good Place,
Oh yeah.
like, right? Just streaming The Good Place. Unfortunately, Monday when I went, they had the news on, and I was just sitting there, just like, I walked out of there just like a ball of stress because not only was like the national news, then the local news, and it was not only all news about the midterms, but of course the election commercials were playing.
Oh gosh, I haven't seen any of those.
Oh, I wonder what they're like in Oregon.
Oh, I can make a guess. I can because the I don't know if I've talked to you about this on the pod, but like the candidates in Oregon are very much devil and angel candidates. And if by devil, I mean if you're a Democrat, you think the other side is the devil. And so like I'm only speaking from my perspective, but it's like you're either voting for someone who's like a moderate liberal, like not even someone who's like bleeding left. It's like just a moderate person and who believes in abortion, believes in gun control, that kind of thing. And then the other person that they're running, there's no one in between. And then there's the person that they're running against is like full on QAnon, like beyond
Oh
Trump,
God.
like not even like radical, like way, but like believes in like militias on the border of Idaho. Like it's really intense. And so, yeah, that's interesting. I actually don't know what the commercials are like, but I bet you they're really rough right now. What did you see at the nail salon? Also, I'm sad that you weren't watching the Kardashians. That sounds so much more fun.
I know. Or like, I mean, that was like literally the place where I would watch these trash TV shows and pretend like I wasn't watching every syllable of what they were saying.
Yes.
Right. Oh my God, I don't care about this. Wait, can
I
you turn that up?
totally do not care about Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker, but please, I want to be up to date on her latest outfit. Thank you very much. Yes.
I just quick aside, there's a woman I follow on TikTok who does these like really amazing, like every episode of the Kardashians. She's the series, like every episode of the Kardashians, and she plays all of them. And she's so good and deadpan. And her whole thing is, yeah. Somebody did a compilation of like cats making that. Oh my God. Anyway, I
Oh
love
my
her.
God, that's so funny.
I'm going to say her name wrong. Yuri Sabella, maybe is her name. Oh, so good.
So
Anyway.
good. That is the kind of content that I am here for. That brings me joy when it's like I love that like maybe they had the idea and then I hope that they didn't even like filter themselves. They're like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna put this on you on TikTok and it's gonna be amazing and like good for them. That's that just brings me joy.
Really just like it's just again so deadpan, like Kourtney is being such a bitch right now. Like, I just love she's all of their inflections down so good. Anyway,
Oh God.
yeah, I feel like I not as much as in Alabama, of course, but am shocked by the things that come out of people's mouths.
Really? Like in these
Yes.
commercials?
Yes. Like in Alabama, of course, it's just like the most crazy, racist, xenophobic, fucking violent shit. And here I feel like it's all of this like dog whistle, like I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say inner city and wink wink, you know what I mean by that, like shit. And it's
Oh
like,
God.
can
Come
we
on.
not? Can we not?
No, can we not? Exactly. Like that's ridiculous. Also offensive. What?
So yeah.
Wow. So you came out of the nail salon feeling not zen.
Not zen at all. No. Not that I'd had this escapist experience, and I don't love my manicure. It's a whole thing.
You don't? I can't really see it very well, but it looks really good from a distance.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what's important.
It's a good Zoom manicure.
Thank you. Right?
Yes. Totally works. Yeah, I definitely feel like it's more chatter about the midterms on like the late night shows, and it's more, reading the newspaper and all of that stuff. So yeah, it just anyway, my hope is that democracy prevails as well. And yeah. So moving right along to a not at all related topic of cats. So, yes, you asked me about how my visit was last week. So, I am back in Bend right now. I got back last night, and last week I visited Guillermo, which I actually don't think I even talked about, even though I was there. I don't think I mentioned it when we were on the pod. Did I? I don't think so.
I don't know.
So, I was visiting I was cat sitting for my friend Barb, her cat Guillermo. Those of you who might be new to the pod, you might have to rewind like 50 episodes. But this time last year, I babysat a cat, the same cat, Guillermo, in Mill Valley near San Francisco. And I was with him for like a week and a half. And the the relationship had its highs and lows. The low was the first day when I came out of the shower in a towel and he looked at me dead in the eyes standing on my bed and then shit all over my bed. And that was a low. And then yeah,
oh,
it was
I forgot.
Oh, you forgot about that one? Oh yeah.
I thought he threw up on your bed.
Oh no, he threw up on the ground, like all over the hallway. And then when I think he was sick. And like now I have so much love for him, but like I was like, oh, you have big feelings. And also this is how you feel about me. So I had the blanket, dry cleaned and all of the things. But by the end of that visit last year, I really liked the guy. I really did. He is the most vocal cat. I don't even know if cats are supposed to be vocal, but it's like call and response, Karen. I'm not even kidding. It's like I'll be like, hey, G Unit. I call him a lot of different things. GG, G Unit, G Funk with a gangster twist. Like I do a lot. I like call him all kinds of things. Like I very rarely call him Guillermo. But anyway, or just hey, you. But anyway, and so like I was like, I was talking to him, and when I talked to him, I'm like, what's up? And then he's like, and then I'm like, what are you thinking about? Meow. Like it's like we really have this like full on back and forth combo. And he also, I swear to God, I tried so hard to record his like this one type of meow he does, which truly, and I'm honestly not making this up, sounds like hello, like a parrot. It's like hello, and I'm like, it's different than all of his other meows. And I don't know when he's doing it. It's mostly when he's like drinking water. He like says hello to the water. I don't know. Anyway, and so like Tyler's like, no, it's just a meow. And I was like, no, you don't understand. You have not spent enough time with this cat. I can tell the difference between the meows. It's not that, it's not that hard. So anyway, so this trip, I was wondering, like when I got there, I was like, I wonder if he's going to remember me from last year. He did. He climbed on me right when I got in. We like had this great, wonderful snuggle sesh. He is just like such a cutie. I truly, I think I love him. I really do. Like I feel like very attached to him. And like he would always like I would be sitting on the couch and he would sit on the armrest next to me because I would tell him, I'd be like, you're not allowed to be on my computer. Like don't try. And then he'd be like meow meow, and then he would sit next to me on the couch. And so
my God,
it was crazy. And so like we had this whole rapport. Like I really, really like him. And so like I will say that there were only 2 incidents where he tried to bite me and failed. But like, he didn't try to shit on anything. He did throw up once, but that was my fault because I think he was too hungry and I wasn't like like not giving him food. I think he just like his stomach hurt. But anyway, it was great. It was really, really great. I really love him. Like I like felt so bad at the end. I was like, just so you know, in an hour I'm gonna be leaving. And then I pet his head. And then I'm like, excuse me, just so you know, it'll be 25 minutes. And then I'm leaving. I'm a total psychopath, Karen. And like and then finally he was just like, okay. So he like goes and like, just kind of sulks over to his couch and he sits on the couch. And then I tell him, I'm like, I really care about you, Guillermo. I'll see you hopefully next year. And he was just like, like he really did. He just did that. He didn't even say meow. He just, And so, so anyway,
Oh.
I think I need regular updates on G Unit from my friend Barb. I really do. I think I'm going to have to hit her up for that because, she'll probably be like, really, you're that obsessed with my pet? But the answer is yes.
Yes. Any cat person listening to this is like, yes, obviously. All of these things. Like,
yes. Do you recognize all of these things from being a cat person, cat mama?
Yes, I do. And not just these cats, like across all of the cats I've owned in my life, or cat companions I've had in my home, I also had a very, very vocal cat who, as soon as I got on the phone, would start talking.
Oh my gosh. Like they wanted to be part of the convo.
Yes. Was in the background of every phone conversation. And my friends would just be like, what are you doing?
You need to mute yourself when you're not speaking
Oh
in
my
between
God.
breaths.
Just like meowing up a storm. I'm like, what is going on with the cat? And I was like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. It's not even like, it's not like a distress signal. It's like, I think they like to talk. Like, it's just like, they're just vocal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and the love and the wanting the updates. I mean, there's a reason cat videos are like the most popular content on the internet.
That's so true. I've never really thought about that. And like, I want updates. Like I actually kind of want to FaceTime with him, but I think that might be going over the line. I think, and the thing is that like, I don't think he'll want to FaceTime with me because the issue is that like, so last year when I was visiting him, when I was babysitting him, there was one night that I overlapped with Barb. Like she came home early and then I wasn't able to leave until the next morning. And I remember her walking in the door and I was dead to Guillermo. It's as if I did not exist because he was so excited about seeing his mom. And I mean, I don't fault him for it, but I even went up to him and he was just like, really? Like,
are you still here?
Are you exactly substitute teacher vibes big time? So
you're not my real mom.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. So anyway, so my time with Guillermo was great. I'm really happy about it, and I'm also happy to be home. Although it's very weird because now I talk to Lucy as if I was talking to Guillermo, and Lucy doesn't make noise at all. Like even though she's a beagle, like she really doesn't bark unless there's like a coyote in our backyard, which never happens. But like stuff like that, like she like will only bark if like it's something alarming that I need to actually pay attention to. So yeah, she doesn't really make any noise at all, which is weird. I hate to say that I'm a little bummed.
Well, after so many days of scintillating conversation.
Exactly.
The silence is deafening. Yeah.
It is. The silence is so deafening. So anyway, that's me. But yes, how has your week been, Karen? How have things been in your world?
It's good. I have nothing exciting to report. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I got nothing. I wish I did.
That's okay. That's okay. It's warm. I mean, you're wearing a cozy sweater, so I imagine it's getting even chillier.
It really is. And it's really, I think I've heard a lot of people say this, like fall here. I don't know how it is there. Fall here this year is really beautiful, like off the charts. Yeah. Just the leaves are just like really putting on a beautiful show this year. So there is that.
That's awesome. That's like a total bonus. Yeah, the leaves are finally changing here. It's been really warm here, and this weekend it gets down to like 43.
Oh.
So yeah, it's just precipitous. Like it's gonna be like 75 on Friday, and then it's gonna be 43 forever. So that's okay.
Yeah,
what it is.
So it right now, I think, is like in the 40s and 30s here. And then
Oh,
we'll go up to the 70s this weekend. So,
oh, all right, little flip flop. That's nice.
right.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, so your topic is fabulous and timely always. So I love that you texted me about it yesterday. Please take it away. I think it's brilliant.
Well, thank you. And thank you for always being game to talk about these random things that come into my head.
Always.
So the theme is positive inputs, which is not actually a thing. I think it is a phrase that I made up in therapy, realizing that like I've got like the fall blahs going on. Like I've had
Mm,
really my September to September, like last September to this September sucked ass. Like many wonderful things happened to me, but a lot of really bad shit also happened to me. And
like
like
objectively.
objectively terrible. Lots of loss, a breakup. I lost a lawsuit, all kind like work was just a fucking nightmare. Like so many bad things happened. And I have come out of it and feeling like pummeled, like feeling like this was bad enough that I feel like I just need some time to heal from all of these various things.
Yeah.
And want to, as we've talked about in the past, want to also be grateful for the good things that are happening and enjoy the good things that are happening. And the other piece of that for me is like realizing like I need more positive, affirming things around me. Like I need to counteract the midterms and the PTSD of my last year with some good shit and really trying to be intentional about drawing good shit to me and just like watching and listening and consuming positive things.
Oh my God. Thank you for bringing this up. I think this is so incredibly profound. I think it's also so relatable in every way. Like, for you, it's the past year. For someone else, it could be the past week was really bad. For someone else, it could be like the past 15 years were pretty awful. Like whatever it is, it's like it's also just, it's just interesting to the concept of positive inputs as something to be intentional about. Like I think that people probably, I know for me, I'm like, if I'm in a good mood, I'm like, oh wait, what is this related to? And then I'm like, oh, I saw this nice friend today and that's nice, but it was like a happenstance. It wasn't like being intentional about it, which is it sounds like that's really what you're talking about.
Yes, exactly. Actively seeking these things out and making it like a practice, like realizing that if I just rely on the ebbs and flows of my days to be
Yes,
positive, like it's not going to happen. So,
totally.
so really, yes, making positivity and joy even into a practice. And so I was me and Tamara, we were so close for so long. I was doing the daily calm every day. And now, Katie, I don't know what happened. That 10 minutes just feels like an eternity.
Really?
Yeah, I am working my way back up to it, but like now I'm too antsy. I don't know what's going on. So of course, Calm has shorter meditations that I've been doing, but I don't know that 10 minutes I can't right
Well,
now.
maybe that's okay. Like that's so interesting that you say that because it's like the things that bring you joy can change over time. And like maybe the 3 minute, like timed meditation is better for you at this moment than it was. And like to not shame yourself in that way either. Like, do you find yourself being like, why can't I do it? What the hell? Like, I hope not. But
I I definitely have there's like I mean it actually feels less like shame and more like loss. Like, oh, there was this
oh,
version of myself, right? That like was super into this and really got so much out of it and I felt so peaceful. And I feel like I'm associating that feeling of peace with breaks in the shit show of my last year, but yeah, I wish I was that peaceful person. I also feel like as all of these things were piling up over the last year, I was just rolling with it. Like, this sucks, but I'm getting through it. I'm rolling with it. And at a certain point, it was just like, I'm done. Like, I'm
mm,
down. Like
yeah,
I've gotten knocked down this many times and gotten back up. And now I'm just laying here now.
totally. It's like you were under survival, you were in survival like peak survival, like, like very acute survival mode, it sounds like, for that year. And it's like now maybe I don't know if you're still in the survival, but if you're not, it's like it's like you're putting your head above water and like, wait, what the fuck is this? Like, where am I now? Like, what is this? It's a different world than it was a year ago for you, for sure.
Absolutely. So really being almost like being intentional about it. I was going to say being almost crazy about it, but really focusing a lot on, okay, making sure I'm reading. I have like an affirmation app on my phone now, and I am doing these meditations. And so because I can't get through the 10 minutes, I've just been doing shorter ones like multiple times a day. I'm
Great.
rereading You Are a Badass, which is a great book, and I probably should read it every year. So yeah, just really trying to focus on it. Like when you think about positive inputs, like what comes up for you?
I I love this. Also, I think Jen Sincero, the author of You Are a Badass, is celebrating her 10th anniversary of that book, which is amazing. I can't believe it's been 10 years. Um, I love that book too. There's also You Are a Badass at Making Money, and there's like
Yes.
there's a bunch of there's a bunch of them which are wonderful. If those of you not listening or listening haven't heard of it.
Yes. And there's You Are a Badass Every Day.
Ooh, I love that too.
Yeah.
I love that. So this topic really, really resonates with me because I think it's like the idea of like fiercely being like militant almost about this practice. Like I was actually watching I was watching a video on Instagram today, and there was this person that I've been following for a long time who's a body acceptance activist who I love. She's British. I'll link her in the show notes. But anyway, she has this video that's so real, and like it's her in front of her mirror. She's talking to her mirror, but she's then recording herself. So it's kind of like she's can see herself. And she's saying, like, I feel amazing right now. And I've had several weeks of good, she's had several good brain weeks. And she said that the reason for that is because I have been moving my body in joyful ways. I have been doing affirmations every single day. I have been like just like what you said. And she's like, I'm making this video right now to remind myself when I don't feel great to go back to those practices and to not fall off the wagon. Like, and then it's like, but also be, um accepting when I do. And so yeah, I definitely resonate with this topic. I think in terms of my own positive inputs, okay, well, I had one today actually. So
Ooh.
for me, it's like very much movement based or like, it's like doing something for me. And it's not like doing something in terms of being productive, but like doing something that makes me feel excited. And so several months ago, it could have been like in the spring, I don't remember exactly. I remember telling you that I wanted to try a swim team here in Bend. And it
Yes.
was the Masters team, which is a confusing name because it's basically just like it's anyone over the age of 18 can join Masters, but it doesn't mean you're a master at swimming. It's just like a way of being on a team, and you don't even have to compete. But anyway, so there's one here that's very much thriving. Like it's a well-known Masters team here. And it's called Coma, which is a horrible name, which is such a bummer. Central Oregon Masters Aquatics, but whatever. Anyway, I
Oh
don't know. They need to
no.
like rebrand a little bit. But anyway, so I've been knowing about this forever and I've been going to the same pool forever and I'm so nervous, Karen, to like do something like that. And so today I was like, I have a break in my schedule at my lunch. I know that there's going to be a master's practice. It literally doesn't cost me any more money, like, which is weird. I don't know how that's possible. I just can go to the pool, pay the $6 that I usually do, and I can join. And so I did. And I
Yay!
did. And I was so nervous. And like and I will say that like the people who were around were nice. It wasn't like, oh my God, you're new. That's so cool. Like, this is amazing. It was just like, hey, okay, you can join this lane. And Emily, the coach, was pleasant enough. And I think it was more that I was like so proud of myself for trying something new and trying something different. And so that is a positive input for me. And I feel good. Like I feel good in my body and I'm hopefully going to be able to sleep tonight. I'm realizing that if I don't work out, like I just sleep like shit. And so I'm glad that I checked that box. But yeah, I think for me also like the positive inputs are like around the people that I surround myself with. I mean, it's so huge. I I just came off of this week in San Francisco where I saw amazing friends, and it was just like it was so wonderful to be around people that I love. And yeah, so that was a positive input. And just like petting Lucy, the smallest things are positive inputs. But also like my singing lessons. I know I haven't really talked about them very much on the pod lately. And it's like these are all things that, like, if you're listening to this and you're like, okay, I can't really take singing lessons, I'm not a swimmer or whatever. These are just like very much individual things. Like everyone has their own, but I feel like my singing lessons are making me so happy. And like the fact that I have them to look forward to every week, I'm really investing in myself to do these things. Um, that's so helpful. It just like makes me happy to know that they're going to be there, like just to like this intentional joy moment. Um, yeah, it's interesting. I think that I also need to get good at clarifying what is not a positive input.
Ooh, yeah, that's really good.
Because I don't actually always know. Like, I mean, yes, there's obviously the obvious shit. Like, if I watch something violent, or if I like listen to too much NPR and stuff like that. But every once in a while, something creeps in, and I'm like, oh, damn. Like, you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't always have like a list, I guess.
Yes. Well, and I feel like sometimes it, for me, can be cumulative.
Mm,
Like there can be
yes,
a buildup of negative things, and it's like, oh, I didn't catch this early enough, and now it's just like a pile of them.
totally. Totally. That's a really good point. Like context matters. Like even if you're having like an amazing day and then all of a sudden you feel this like wave of anxiety, it could be because your anxiety has been building for days and days and days. Like give yourself a break. And by yourself, I mean me. Like I can have a really hard time giving myself a break. I was on the plane yesterday and I had such hella anxiety. It was horrible. And I was like, why am I so anxious? And then I'm like, oh, well, this happened at work and this was, it happened, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, I think everything, it's so easy to think that things happen in a vacuum and they don't.
Yeah. And I haven't read Your Body Keeps the Score, but I'm going to quote that idea that it is all being stored, even if you are not consciously aware of it, or that your brain moves on really quickly, or you start thinking about something else, that it's all getting stored in there
Yes.
to come up later. Great.
It's like your body is a supercomputer that like has all of those data, like all of that data just like in it, like all of the trauma. I actually was in a I wasn't in, but I was watching a webinar with Bessel van der Kolk, the guy who wrote Body Keeps the Score, and I have also not read it. But it was just like, holy shit. Like it was in one of the things that this webinar that I listened to was talking about. It's actually part of this our nonprofit I'm part of called On the Inside, which helps women in prison. And like what this nonprofit that I'm part of does is it actually teaches theater to women in prison. And so his whole thing was actually talking about how literally the act of being in theater, or like in by theater you don't have to be on stage, like you can just be like with a few people doing a skit, whatever, like creativity can actually heal trauma wounds, like for real, like on like a cellular level.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes, that's amazing.
Oh my God, it was so amazing. And it was like him and like a bunch of other people, but like the main other person was this woman named Tina Packard, who is the founder of Shakespeare and Company, which is on the East Coast. It's like one of the premier Shakespeare. Sorry, I'm like getting too excited that I'm like touching my microphone. But anyway, like one of the like premier Shakespeare companies in the country. And she was talking about this and how like she was talking openly about her rape and how like she had been, and like how theater has helped to heal her. And it's like because you can also like, it was so interesting. This is now like a big jump, but like it seems as though when you have more positive inputs, there is like a healing process to that. Like there's like a way of like you can reprogram like the neurons in your brain, like you can, like it's possible, like there is neuroplasticity, like we're not just like here as like survivors of our trauma forever.
Whew. Yes, exactly. And it's one of the things that my therapist was talking to me about. She says it all the time, that like you are rewriting your neural pathways, you are rewiring your brain and
Yes.
getting out of this pattern of negativity and these bad things that have happened and happened recently, happened a long time ago. So yes, exactly what you're saying. And I'm also realizing, Katie, you have a ton going on.
Do I? I don't know.
Yes. Wait, okay. So you just named, so you work, you're taking singing lessons, you're swimming, you were involved with the Women in Prison nonprofit. Like, holy shit.
I am. I mean, isn't it amazing how like you're right. I want to be like, I appreciate that and I will receive that. And I also am like, everyone I know is doing so many things. Like, I mean, my God, you're working. You have Rebellious still going. We're doing a podcast. Like there's so it's like there's so many things that everyone does when like you think about it. But yes, I appreciate that. And you're right. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's but like rerouting the earth, recreating paths for these neural pathways is like such a real thing. And I think that like the narrative, for me at least, it's hard to believe that like some things will go away. And like that's why therapy is so great.
Yes, exactly. And necessary. And I will do it as we've talked about forever. And I think one of the things it also brings up for me is that I've been thinking about, we're 105 episodes in.
Yes.
And I think we've had similar conversations, but not exactly the same. They're always a little nuanced and different. And I think it's also a reminder for me that, like we talked about earlier, like the things that used to work maybe won't work anymore. And that we have to constantly remind ourselves to do these things that like wellness and mental health and well-being and peace and calm are things that you really have to work at, unfortunately, and that it's not just going to happen.
Yes, it's so true. Like this Instagram person was like, I'm a complicated plant. I need to water and feed myself differently all the time. And I need to make sure that I'm paying attention to myself. And I was like, I am a complicated plant. I agree with you. Yeah, like saying it back to my screen. But yes, it's like we have to do these things every day because if we don't, then like we wilt, and like things like, and it's like, and then like it's almost, I don't know, and this is now going to get into like weird metaphor territory, but like our roots get stronger and harder and like we have to like we like I don't know. I know for me, when I go through the hardest times, it's like, all right, here we go. Like it's like I'm barreling through and it's like you grin and bear it and you're just like, I got to do this. And it's like you kind of like make yourself a ball and you just like get fucking through it. And then it's like, but when you get on the other side and you like relax out of the ball, you're like, oh shit. Like, wait.
Totally.
This is hard.
That is a perfect analogy. That is a perfect analogy. I wrote in my journal the other day that I feel like this year was so fucking ugly and that I have woken up in a really beautiful, really fancy hospital with a really beautiful, amazing, loving partner. And I'm just like, whoa, wait, what?
Yes.
How did I get here? Do I deserve to be here? No. This is much too fancy. I'll go to a shitty hospital. Like, I just am having all of this like weird, do I deserve this shit happening? It's bad.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. That is so real. And I think every single person listening to this is like nodding vigorously. Like it's like they just because yes, do I deserve this? Is this a new normal for me? How can I rewire my like default setting that is like not saying that you are experiencing chaos, but like used to chaos or used to whatever the brand is of like negativity in your life. And like, there's something to that. Like, there's something to that. Like the fact that you're questioning it, Karen, is such a beautiful thing because it's also like by questioning it, you're bringing it out of yourself is my guess. Right.
Yeah.
Like it's not me. Like this is a thing I'm observing. Does that make sense?
Yes, very much so.
Also, that's really hard to do. Thank God for therapists.
Oh my God. Yeah, I highly recommend also being in a relationship with a therapist. You are happily married, but listeners, if you can find yourself practicing therapist to actually date. I recommend
Yes.
it.
Yes. A functional, wonderful therapist. That's super, super helpful. I would imagine there is shorthand for all of the things that you feel. Like that would be like amazing. Oh gosh.
We have
Yeah.
a lot of conversations about feelings. It's true.
That's so wonderful. Yeah. Maybe I'll ask Tyler to get another degree.
Can you real quick?
Real quick, can you get your master's like in the next 6 months so we can even have more conversations about feelings? Yes. Thanks so much. Okay, so one thing that I thought of immediately after you texted me this idea about positive inputs is actually what Tanya said two episodes ago, because I remember what she was talking like when she was talking about being bisexual and how the in unbelievable mental health negative implications of the discrimination that she and other people within the bisexual community experience. She also said, and I thought it was so interesting, that like her and other people who identify as bisexual, their mental health can be improved by having the opposite, like having the positive input. And so it's like it's back to this neuroplasticity that we're talking about. It's like that's so fascinating. When she said that, I was like, oh, I really thought that was so interesting. Cause like I just think of like trauma is trauma and that's just the worst. And like, oh my God, I'm just gonna live here forever. And it's like, no, actually, like the fact that people's mental health can be, changed for the better by the positive that's amazing.
Whew, I mean, Tanya is magical, as we've talked about. And I
Yes.
do love that point. And you're making me think of something. This is a little dark. So you might cut
I'm here
this in
for it.
post.
I'm so here for it. I will never cut.
I struggle, even at my advanced age, I still struggle with the notion that I will heal from my trauma.
Mm,
I don't know that I believe it's true. I believe I've gotten better. I believe that I am coping better. I believe that certain things are easier and certain things I've healed from, but I really resist this idea. I don't know that I think it's possible. I know
yeah.
that's terrible, but it's true.
Yeah. That's totally fair. I also have similar feelings and I get real annoyed with them. Like I get really annoyed with those feelings because I want to like erase things. And
Yeah.
that's just part of who like yeah, it's so interesting. I would love to have like a trauma. I would love to have Bessel van der Kolk, obviously the guy who did Body Keeps the Score on here, but like in lieu of him, it would be amazing to have someone to talk about that. Like, can people really heal from trauma? And I don't know if it's the question is not like, do you want to heal from trauma? Because it's like, it's also who you like, it's part of your story, right?
Right. Right. And what is the definition of healing from it? Like, could you argue, well, Karen, you have healed from certain things and it's left a scar, and sometimes it gets irritated and it's going to bleed again, and that's just what happens, right? Like nothing is ever fully healed. I don't know. I would love to have somebody on to talk about, yes, like healing from trauma and what that even looks like.
Yeah. I think in my experience, when I think about trauma, I think about like what you said just a couple of minutes ago is like being able to handle it differently than I did previously, or even being able to look at it. I think
Mm,
that's a challenge for me is like being able to look at it in a lens of love and acceptance for myself. And I think that's really, really challenging. And yeah, I don't know if heal also means erase. I guess
mm,
I don't know.
that's a really good point.
I don't know.
Well, this idea of self-compassion and being kind toward yourself and love toward yourself reminds me of the best positive input I've had in a very long time, which is that Ginger Buddha and I got gifted free tickets to see Lizzo on Sunday. What?
You did?
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Karen. Wait, this Sunday or last Sunday?
Last Sunday, like 3 days ago, like
Oh
whatever day. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, please tell me every single detail. I'm obsessed with her. I really am. I actually have a friend that went to the Detroit show a couple weeks ago and called me immediately after and was like crying because it was so impactful to them. Like it was truly incredible. Oh my God, tell me everything. I'll stop talking. I really want to hear.
I mean, it just not in addition to it just being an amazing concert because it's Lizzo, the amount of time she talked about self-compassion and love and how this whole new album is about self-love and you're the one, you're the shit, you're beautiful, you're amazing, you know, I love you love yourself. Like it was just so powerful. And I was so happy not only to hear it for myself, but to hear it for like all of these little kids. I mean, Lizzo fans are every age,
You're
every
right.
gender, every race, every ethnicity, everything. And having these kids and these folks like be able to hear somebody saying that and somebody from saying it from a place of like, I'm a fat Black woman. I know, I got you. I understand it's hard. And this is why it's important that you do it. Like it was so good.
Oh my gosh, that's so great. I'm so happy that the two of you got to go.
No.
What a
Oh my gosh.
gift.
I know. And I feel bad for these people who couldn't go and we got their free tickets, but oh
I
man, it
mean,
was great.
that's fantastic. I also find like when you were in that experience and she was telling everyone, like the thousands of people, I'm guessing it was like United Center or something.
Oh yeah, United Center.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like thousands of people that you're all wonderful and it's like, even though she's not telling you, Karen Hawkins, you are amazing, like it still has an impact. I think like when you hear that ever, it has an impact personally.
Yes.
Right?
Oh no, totally. Yeah. And I feel like I was talking about this show, of course, with my boss today, and she said it. She was like, I was saying that like I don't love arena shows usually, like,
Yeah, me either.
and the way she put it was that like, yeah, Lizzo strikes me as somebody who can play to the rafters, and it's very true. And not only does it's everybody in that crowd, no matter how shitty your seats were, have an amazing time, but yes, you do feel like she is talking to you. She's personalizing it to you. It's
Oh,
very true.
I mean, her song, You're Special,
I
You're
know.
Special. It's like so good. I watched her on the Carpool Karaoke with James Corden a couple days ago, and I was like, oh, I really love
Right.
her. Like,
Yeah.
I love her. Like, a
She's fucking
good force
fantastic.
in the world.
1,000%. And it's like anybody who's like the fact that people come at her is just like more proof of why what she's doing is so powerful. Like really
Totally.
this like wonderful, amazing, positive human. Like you're okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's great.
It's like the bigger you get, the bigger the target is on you, also. It's like there's always going to be the haters. And I'm so glad that her but I'm also glad that her fan base is getting so much bigger. I feel like she's getting
Oh yeah.
bigger and bigger and bigger. Like when she was on Carpool Karaoke, one of the things that she said to James was like, I'm so touched that, I can be on this Carpool Karaoke thing with you, that people know my music well enough that means I could, you would know how to sing my music. It's like she said, like she only recorded this a couple months ago. And he was like, kind of, I think he was like a little bit baffled by her saying that because, like, of course you're Lizzo. But like he was just like, yeah, of course. Like it was like a very vulnerable thing for her to say. And it was like, yeah, it's just a beautiful thing. Like it's just for her to send out that much love into the world. But I really think there is something to the idea of like having more open conversations about how fabulous the people are in your lives. Like, because everyone needs to hear they're special. Everyone needs to hear they're loved. Like, even when I was with like little Guillermo, like I seriously like I was gone a couple of the days and like I had someone else come into the house. He was being fed and everything, but like when I came back, he was really mad at me. And I like understood. I was like, yeah. And so I was talking to Tyler about it while he was meowing in the background. And I was like, I feel bad for this little guy. Like he needs love. Everyone needs love.
It's so true. And we're so hard on ourselves. And it's so difficult to counteract those mean voices in your head if, again, you aren't really working on it. If you aren't
Yes.
really aware of them, if you don't hear them for what they are, and if you don't like actively say to them, like, you can go fuck yourself,
Yep.
Actually, I'm amazing. I'm doing the best I can here. Like,
Yes.
whatever the counteracting is. Yeah.
Yes. And it's like what you just said, like, it's like if you can even identify them. Like, I think a lot of people cannot even identify them and they think that's what they are. Like, and it's like, even us talking about like thinking that we're special, thinking that we're amazing, like a lot of people will play that off and be like, haha, like that's so corny. It's not fucking corny. Like, this is like, like it makes me mad. Like, it's not corny. It's actually important and beautiful and wonderful. And like, this is what all of us want anyway. Why don't we just own up to it? Anyway, I just got a little mad about that, but yeah.
As we should. Because I feel like the other thing is that you're not just counteracting the mean voice in your head. To me, you're also counteracting how fucking terrible the world is right now. It's fucking terrible.
Yeah. Yes.
And whether you're aware of it or not, you are internalizing. We are all internalizing these terrible things that are happening and have all of this unresolved grief around it and all of these things. And I think that to me is the other part of the positive inputs, is like realizing like just this that we all have to go through every day acting like everything's not fucking terrible when it is terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, to just like give ourselves grace.
Yeah.
Like, if we're not feeling great, like that's okay. And like to focus on the positive things that bring you joy. Like, that's like, I mean, there's something I'm doing on Thursday, which I'm really excited about. And I guess I'll have already done it once this podcast comes out. But there's this new cabaret theater that is being created in Bend by some of the leaders of the LGBTQ community in Bend. And it's entirely a theater that is focused on LGBTQ, that type of like different types of theater, but like only having people who identify it as the actors or actresses. And I'm so excited about it. And I volunteered and I'm going to be the bartender on Thursday.
Oh my God, Katie.
I'm so excited, Karen. I really want to meet people who are like cool and like just like doing cool shit, like creating stuff. And like, so I don't know, maybe it will be, I'm not trying. I was about to say maybe it'll be crappy, but I'm like, why would I say that? It's not going to be crappy. Like, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be so cool. It's like on the other side of like this, plant store that I go to all the time. And it's like the people who own it are the people who starting this theater. And it's like, Bend, it's just there's cool stuff happening here. And I'm like, okay, I want to like, that's something that's a positive input. Hopefully, like we'll see. But I mean, I don't know, just taking a chance on the things that you think might be positive inputs too is a good, like, it's also just information. Like, if it doesn't work out, cool. But if it does, great. Like, that's okay.
Yes. And being proud of yourself for going.
Yeah. Just patting yourself on the back for just trying it. Yeah. And also like, I think the other thing for me is like, I sometimes have days where I think like it would make me feel so much better if I just walked around the block and just like took a break. And when I'm not in a good place, I don't do it. And then I really pay for it. And then when I am in a good place, I'm like, holy shit, like I feel so much better. It's like choosing those positive inputs. Like, I think it's an active choice to like back to the intentionality of it, to like make those things a priority.
Yeah. Yeah. And as we've talked about in the past, like the worse you feel, the less capable you are of doing those things that make you feel better. And
yes.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm thinking of another positive input. So I don't know if we talked about it. Ginger Buddha's in a bowling league.
Oh, damn. That's so impressive.
I know. And so every Tuesday she bowls and they're at like a newer. So the first bowling alley they were at is like a historic, I'm using that word kindly, historic Chicago bowling alley, like a little divey.
Hasn't been renovated.
That's
okay.
Yeah.
Charming.
I mean, it's great, right? It is charming in its own way, but it's also just like, it's kind of gross in here. There might be carpet in the bar. But now they're at like a fancier, more modern one that still has a lot of character and a lot of characters. Like, so they're somehow in the LGBTQ league, like Ginger Buddha is not. And I don't know how they ended up in this league, but like just the team names are hilarious, right?
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yes. But I obviously have gone to bowling and it's just so much fun to be around them. Like, I can't bowl. I'm not going to bowl, but like, it's just fun to even watch and to like cheer people on. And, you know, if somebody has one pin left, you all have to you all raise your hands, because if they don't make it, they have to buy you all drinks. Like,
Oh my
nobody ever
God,
does,
how
right? Like,
fun is that?
it's just such a good, smart, like way to get out of the house, to interact with people, to do something physical, to do something like competitive, but in a very fun way. Like, yeah, I'm a
Like
bowling fan.
friendly competitive.
Yes. And like, they all, you know, they know who the people are. Like, you know, they all, obviously all the teams are playing each other over the course of this. It's like a really long season. And I think they kind of like poke fun at the people who are taking it too seriously. You know, it's,
Yeah, right. It's like you only live once. Be like amazing in your bowling league and just like throw your hands in the air when there's one pin left. Hell yeah. Like that sounds like so much more fun than being like crappy when you lose and then going home sad.
yeah. And exactly. And the last time so this is a new season, but the last one she was in, their team actually did really well and kept getting called up to the front to get envelopes of money.
What? Oh my God. What?
Seriously, like, oh, you guys came in whatever overall. Oh, you had the top scorer. Oh, you had whatever. Like, yeah, their team captain, her friend, just kept going up and coming back with like these envelopes of money. And I think they walked out of there with $240.
What?
Just like, okay.
Like that's a bonus.
Yeah,
Wow. Pay for the round of drinks. A few of them.
exactly.
That's so cool. I also love that she goes every Tuesday. Like, I
Yes.
think there's something to that in terms of like a positive input being like a regular thing. It's like the positive input in my life for this podcast is like the regular thing to know that I'm going to see you, Karen. Like, it's like,
Totally.
it's such a nice, like, it is a positive input in my life. Like, it's just, and it's like with the singing lesson that I'm like trying to go to every Monday. It's like, okay, I know I have that to look forward to. And yeah, to like almost like make it just part of your schedule.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, totally. I love this conversation. I actually feel like we could talk about this for a really long time because I
I
feel like
know.
there's like a lot to it. There's a lot to like, and also your concept, like going back to like the shitty hospital that you woke up in, or the beautiful hospital, excuse me, the beautiful hospital,
fancy.
right? But like thinking that you like are, you know, like deserving of a shittier hospital, like that's yes, that's so profound. Like that's yes, yeah. Well, this has been really fun. I feel better. This has been a positive input today for me.
Yes. Same. Thank you. Absolutely.
Thank you. Oh, thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week.